Okay, well, the news on Bajaj Electricals is out, where the board has approved the demerge of the manufacturing business of Hind lamps into the company. We'll be touching base with the management just soon enough, but HLL or Hind Lamps is an unlisted company which was incorporated all the way back in 1951, and the turnover as of 2014-15 stood at around 65.21 crores. And we in fact do have the management with us. We have Mr. Shekhar Bajaj joining in to take us through the details. Mr. Bajaj, if you could then apprise us of how much this entire acquisition or this merger would be worth, and what would the synergies or the rationale be behind it?
Okay, good afternoon to all of you. Basically, the Hind Lamps has been a BIFR company, and it is for the last maybe 10-12 years, and therefore under the BIFR scheme, we were supposed to turn it around and make it profitable. Now, we have not been able to make Hind Lamps profitable, and therefore we thought that as Bajaj Electricals, we should not think of looking at a company once at least it shows sign of being profitable. So now Hind Lamps has stopped losing money, but under the BIFR, it is still a sick company, and therefore we found that there is a problem of cash flows there. And because from 1951, we depending on them for our supplies of lamps. They are a company where they are source of lamps. So once we come into the picture and we put into our finances with our management skills and all, we should be able to reduce cost and make it more profitable. And therefore, we thought it's a good time, but we have to go through a whole process. First, we have to make a application to BIFR. Once the BIFR approves this demerger and merger, then once they approve it, then we have to go to our board and to our shareholders, take their approval, and then it will take place. I think it will take around 12 months or so.
All right, Mr. Bajaj, then in that case, could you also give us a sense of what is the kind of debt which is there on HLL's books, and what is the kind of debt that will come onto your books post this?
Exact numbers I don't recollect, but that has been in the valuation. They've minus that from the valuation what they've done for the assets, and therefore on the basis of that, they have given a value where the total amount that the shares of Bajaj Electricals that will be given to the shareholders of Hind Lamps, the total value of that on today's market price is around 16 crores.
Okay, Mr. Bajaj, if I'm looking at your, the HLL turnover which you've indicated in the press release itself, 2012-13 it stood at 77 crores, 13-14 it stood at 72 crores, and 14-15 it came down to 65 crores. And any which way it's been, I think, loss making for the past 10 to 12 years. What makes you confident that this is a reasonable business to take on and for you to turn it around and get it out of BIFR?
We see very clearly that this is a good source of lamps for us. We've been buying since last 65 years the lamps from there. Their quality is considered the best in the marketplace, and therefore by today they are always stressed for funds because they are losing money. Now for the last few months they have stopped losing money. They are just breaking even. So we said now is the time that if we put in some funds and support them, and once it's controlled by Bajaj Electricals, the suppliers also look at it differently. The debt which you take also look at it differently. Today, debt you are getting at 13% interest. If we come into the picture, the debt would be 10 to 11%. As far as vendors are concerned, because they are not getting paid on time, they charge obviously extra price. Once we get control of the same, then we hope that at least 3 to 5% cost reduction would take place, and to that extent, the profitability will be much better.
And what about Bajaj Electricals as a whole on a consolidated basis? Do you think that this is going to pressure your margins as well as your bottom line because of...
No, it will improve because, once it becomes part of Bajaj Electricals, then till the GST doesn't come, at least next 2 years, I think or 1.5 years till GST doesn't stabilize, we when we are buying from them, we pay 2% CST. Once it becomes part of Bajaj Electricals, no CST will be applicable. So that 2% is an additional margin available. And also the interest and all which we are paying on the loans and all will be gone, because a lot of loans and other things have been given by Bajaj Electricals and others. So all that will be paid up. So to that extent, it becomes a much more clean company, and it becomes worthwhile for us to. Now it all depends on BIFR, how they look at it, because from BIFR it's important. Otherwise, this company is not a viable company as per them, and therefore they're saying that how do you make it viable? So we are saying the way is to go about, if we acquire it, then automatically when it gets merged with.
And what is the latest loss figure?
Latest loss figure from I think, maybe I don't remember the exact number, but maybe 25 to 30 crores is the carry forward loss from. The net worth negative will be about 25-30 crores, I think.
Okay.
And do you expect it to become profitable in FY16, H2 FY16?
Yeah, H2 it will be profitable, but as standalone it will be profitable, and it will become much better once the approval comes from BIFR. Then the whole picture changes, but even now it will be profitable. That is why the board considered, this could have been done 2 years back also, but that time it was still losing 3, 4, 5 crores. So we say it doesn't make any sense because it's still losing money. Now that we have given the VRS and others and reduced the overheads and everything, and now we are finding that at least now there is not any more losing money. So therefore it started making cash profits. So we said, okay, now this is a good time to look at this.
Okay. All right, fair enough. Point taken, Mr. Shekhar Bajaj. Thank you very much for joining in and talking to us. So the Hind lamps business itself became cash profitable, and hence it was a good time to announce this merger according to the management. So Bajaj Electrical is not too changed or perturbed by that move. But let's go back to Gaurav. Gaurav, you had a couple of stock picks.